Good morning. It's experiment morning. I have been reading posts about the raspberry coffee that Nespresso put out for the holidays, and I'm going to do a little experiment with it this morning. So it is Thursday, going on. Oh my gosh, I forgot my watch. Oh my goodness, and here I'm the one telling people how to remember things. You know, I'm going to go get my watch. I guess my coffee videos ought to help me to remember my watch, because when I start looking at my wrist to say what the weather is or what the time is or stuff like that, at least after the fact, I'll remember that I forgot my watch. Okay, now I have my watch, and instead of looking at bare wrist, I can tell you it's going on about 8:10 a.m. Let me get this hooked up here. And it is Thursday, February 9th, 2023. Yeah, I also have it up on top of the fridge there. You know, I've shown you that before. But I like to have it handy so that it comes with me wherever I go. And it's going to be another warm day today. So I'm ready in my shirt sleeves. Okay, so this is the experiment this morning. I'm going to turn this around for you. So people have been saying, yeah, well, they put out the raspberry, which, by the way, has been sold out for weeks and weeks now. So I just add raspberry syrup to any coffee, and really, you know, it's a lot the same. Well, I'm going to say I don't agree for a certain reason. I'll tell you the reason. When you are extracting this, you get the aroma. You get the aroma, that raspberry, very intense raspberry, wonderful. Oh my gosh, it just, you know, it's like going out and smelling the flowers or something. It's really great. But when you're brewing, you know, or extracting other coffees, you're not getting that. The syrup doesn't give you that. This is what I'm going to do this morning, okay? So, because obviously if I'm going to add syrup to the regular coffee, and I've got Volluto here, which is, you know, it's just a mild, well, it's not mild, it's got a good flavor, but it doesn't have, you know, it's not like spicy or bold or, you know, chocolatey or fruity or particularly anything like that. It's just an average kind. It's one of my favorites, one of my standards. Okay, so because I would add some raspberry syrup to it to give the raspberry flavor, I'm going to add some simple syrup to the raspberry coffee, because adding the syrup's going to dilute things a little bit, but also, you know, the raspberry syrup is sweet, so I want to add a little sweetness with the simple syrup to the raspberry coffee, if you could follow that. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to extract the Volluto, and I'm going to go ahead, just in case it would make a difference to the fragrance, to put in some raspberry syrup. Am I measuring this? This by eye. Okay, so there's my raspberry syrup. You know what? I'll go ahead and I'll put a similar amount of simple syrup into the one that's going to get the raspberry. Let's see if this is about. Does that look about the same? Oh, I need a little more raspberry syrup in there. Yes, I know. I could have measured it, and that would have saved this whole problem. You know, is it kind of like men shaving their sideburns? And there. That's pretty equal. and they shave this one, and they go, oh wait, I need to take a little more off this one. Uh-oh, now I need to take more off this one. It's better to measure, but okay, I didn't measure. All right, but it's pretty close. All right, here we go. So I'm putting in the Volluto. The raspberry syrup is in here. I'm gonna plant my nose kind of over it to see if I get any, you know, fragrance. Nah, not really. I mean, I got a little fragrance there, but nothing to write home about. Okay, so there's my my pink Volluto. All right, now here's my raspberry capsule, and I've got the simple syrup in the cup. So here we go with this. It's amazing, really. If you like the aroma of raspberries, this coffee is just incredible. Of course, you know, I'm not making it for aromas, although that is part of it. You know, that affects how you experience a taste. The aroma affects it, okay? So, first, here's the problem. What do I taste first? I guess I'll taste the Ersatz raspberry coffee, the Volluto with raspberry syrup. Have I got the right one? Yeah, the one that looks pink. Okay, now I feel like I need to rinse my mouth out. Okay, now I'll try the real stuff, the genuine raspberry. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna say this. First of all, I feel like maybe I used too much sweetener in here, too much syrup. You know what? Okay, this is what I think, because I've certainly had the raspberry without any kind of sweetening in it. The aroma has a lot to do with how it tastes, okay? If you just want raspberry flavoring in your coffee, yeah, by all means, put in syrup. Maybe a different raspberry syrup would have tasted better than this. And you know, it does, like, you get different syrups from different companies, and it can have the same name, even something like vanilla, and they can taste different. So, all right, first of all, I don't think I really care. This is one of the few skinny syrups, Jordan skinny syrups. The raspberry, I don't really care for that much. As mild as the Volluto is, or is sort of a standard average kind of flavor, I feel like it doesn't go with the raspberry. Okay, so there's a problem. You know, you can't, maybe you can't just take any old coffee and dump in some raspberry syrup and have raspberry coffee. Is the Nespresso Raspberry coffee made from raspberries? No, it's artificial flavoring, right? It's artificial. I've got like all these. I've been able to collect up a few boxes of raspberry. Okay. 10 raspberry flavor with other natural flavors. Okay, so raspberry flavor. So, and other well, maybe it is natural raspberry. But the point is that the aroma is a lot stronger than the raspberry flavor. Whereas when you're pouring raspberry syrup into a coffee, you're putting in flavoring. Yeah, I know this coffee has flavor too, but there's a difference. Okay, have you ever had like vanilla or hazelnut? Those are very common flavors to, buy ground or coffee beans with those flavors already, stuck into the coffee, whether it's natural vanilla or an artificial vanilla. Okay. And then you can add vanilla extract or vanilla syrup to a plain coffee, but they taste differently. I guess what I'm saying is, if you're happy adding a raspberry syrup to some kind of whatever coffee, yeah, by all means do it. If you would prefer to have it the way Nespresso brewed it, which also gives you a wonderful aroma when it's being extracted, yeah, then try to get a hold of that. But I just wanted to do this comparison to see. I don't know, there may be a better way to do it. I just sort of did this. I thought this up as I was walking to the phone this morning to do this video. So I didn't put a lot of thought into how should I do this experiment. Sort of flying by the seat of my pants, making it up as I go. Definitely, I like the raspberry coffee without sweetener. Oh my goodness. Because remember, I've told you before how when you add any sort of sweetening or any sort of whitening, cream, milk, coffee mate, whatever, to your coffee, it affects the flavor profile. So do you know what? I can't believe I'm going to do that. Well, I was going to say I'm going to pour these in the sink. I'm going to try first adding just some more water. I'm going to add another 1.35 ounces of just water. There's no capsule in here. To the Nespresso Raspberry to dilute out some of that sweetener. I'm just giving this a try here before I pour it down the sink. Okay. Look, it's looking very weak. I'll give it a try. Actually, diluting out some of that sweetener has helped. No, that's actually drinkable. You know what? I'll do the same thing to the Volluto with the raspberry syrup in it, and we'll see what happens. I mean, when I do these things, I don't try them beforehand. This is not one of those polished, Facebook or YouTube videos where, you have the beautiful setting and the lighting and the maybe background music and, the host or hostess that's all dressed just so with makeup. That's my makeup right there. No, this is just me at home doing what I would normally do, but with you. Okay, this is definitely better with being diluted some, which I think just goes to show I did add too much sweetener, but still, that does not negate the fact that getting that raspberry aroma from the Nespresso Raspberry coffee really has a major impact on the whole experience. Now, if somebody were to make the coffee and, and I'm not right there and then they bring it to me, That would be an experiment because I would not have the experience of that aroma. Although, well, no, I would because you can smell the coffee. And we always smell the coffee. And just incidentally, have you ever noticed if you have a cold, your nose is all stuffed up, it affects your sense of taste also. Things don't taste as good. So, yeah, aromas make a difference to the taste experience. Okay, well, I have gone on long enough. No, I am not going to pour these down the sink. I think I'm going to add a little bit of almond milk to them. I like Coffee Mate, but I'm not going to add Coffee Mate because it will affect the flavor in a way that I don't want right now. If I had cream or half and half, I'd add that, but the Coffee Mate is not a flavor I want mixed with this. So I get me some almond milk and we'll go about our day. I'm going to go to kick and tone in just a minute. Oh, I'm learning all these cool things. You guys are like jab, jab, uppercut, hook, stuff like that. and leg things too. Anyway, so I hope you have a good day, okay? Make good choices.